Hi, I am Michael Sanchez with Prison Professors, and a couple of weeks ago, I filmed a video speaking about Michael Cohen, the president's former lawyer who went to prison for some crimes related to the way the president ran his campaign and ran some money related to his campaign and a payoff made to some certain people. Michael Cohen became an informer to the government on and really providing testimony that was very damaging to the president. Eventually, he was charged with a crime. And as a result of a guilty plea, he was sentenced to serve a relatively lengthy term. I think it was 3 years inside of a federal prison. He surrendered to federal prison about a year ago to serve that sentence in Otisville, New York. Now, as a result of the coronavirus, he was released from prison to serve a significant portion, more than 2/3 of that time, on home confinement. But he wasn't home very long before the Bureau of Prisons brought him back into custody and sent him back to Otisville. I filmed a video that really kind of explained what that means when somebody is on home confinement and they get sent back to prison. But today we've got some real data, and that comes as a result of a lawsuit that the ACLU filed challenging Michael Cohen's retaliatory imprisonment. And what they allege in this lawsuit is that the Bureau of Prisons or some authority figure decided to terminate Michael Cohen's time on home confinement and put him back in the Bureau of Prisons. Here is an article that was published on July the 20th. I'm publishing it today on July the 21st. But this is an article describing how the law firm Perry Guha filed a habeas petition on behalf of Michael Cohen seeking his immediate release. And I have a copy of that petition right here that we will be going through a little bit later in this video. I just want to kind of give you some feedback on what they're alleging in this lawsuit. Basically, they're saying that the reason that Michael Cohen was taken off of home confinement and placed back in prison is not because he went to a restaurant, as the media initially suggested, but rather it's because he refused to comply with an order or a directive that would have prohibited him from writing a manuscript. Now, those of you who know my work are familiar with the many books that I wrote while I was in prison, and I know for a fact that it is every prisoner's right to be able to publish a manuscript and write a manuscript even while they're incarcerated. And I'm growing this document. This is the policy statement right here, which is 5350.27 concerning inmate manuscripts. And this was published on July 27th. And this, the purpose and scope of this program statement, which is from the Bureau of Prisons, tells us it is to encourage inmates to use their leisure time for creative writing and to permit the direct mailing of all manuscripts as ordinary correspondence. So I'm somewhat familiar with this program statement because I've used it many times before. It says that an inmate may prepare a manuscript for private use or for publication while in custody without staff approval. The inmate may use only non-work time to prepare a manuscript. So according to this document here, Michael Cohen was definitely within his rights, according to the BOP program statement, to begin writing a manuscript and also to publish that manuscript. So this is the article that talks about how he got out. I will put a link to this article in the show notes so that you can read it yourself. But if you're going into the prison system, you may want to be aware of some of the retaliatory measures the government can take if they don't want you to write a book, a manuscript while you're in prison. This is also a very helpful tool for anybody going in because it is an example of what an effective, professionally prepared 2241 motion is. So this is a verified petition for writ of habeas corpus under Title 28, United States Code Section 2241. And this document, what it does is it provides jurisdiction to a federal court, if the court can so accept, to provide relief whenever a constitutional violation is being made. And they're alleging that the Bureau of Prisons is violating, when I say they, I mean Perry Guha, the lawyer, is alleging that the Bureau of Prisons is violating Michael Cohen's constitutional rights by putting him back into prison. And this is a good example of what a 2241 motion looks like. So I will also include a link to this on the Prison Professor's website, because I'm not able to put a link on my YouTube videos. But I do think this is important for people to see, because you may want to, at some point, challenge the constitutional conditions of your confinement. And here we see an example of how it's done. Basically, in the beginning, they write a preliminary statement, as you see right here, which kind of just gives a background on why you believe that your constitutional rights are being violated. In this case, the rights are being violated because they're infringing on his First Amendment rights at the very minimum, because they're trying to stop him from being able to publish this book. Then there's a section on the parties, and the party, of course, is Michael Cohen, a 53-year-old man, but also the Attorney General, because he is the head of the Department of Justice, which, of course, is the department that oversees the Bureau of Prisons. So there's another section here, which is jurisdiction and venue, and this tells the court why the court has jurisdiction to consider this motion. And then there is a statement of facts, and the statement of facts really define what transpired here. So no hyperbole, just the facts. And this is what Mr. Cohen was doing with his book. I don't expect that this document will be ignored. So the Department of Justice, a U.S. attorney, will respond. And when we get that response, if I can find it by looking at the PACER system, I will do my best to record what that response looks like. In addition to the statement of facts here that are a part of this 2241 motion, let's see if there are any other subheadings. This is effectively the subheadings within it. I think there's just going to be a prayer for relief. These are all subheadings within the statement of facts still. And on this 20-page motion, what else do we have? This is what it looks like, the document that the government will put forth when a person is being remanded back to prison after they've been released on compassionate release. So this was dated on July 29th. It is from Patrick McFarland, who's the residential reentry manager of Brooklyn, New York, who was overseeing Michael Cohen. And it's talking about an RRC failure. That is a residential release center failure. They're alleging that Michael Cohen failed to comply with the results. And here are the circumstances. On July 9th, inmate Cohen failed to agree to the terms of federal location monitoring. The BOP is requesting remand for failure to comply. We are therefore requesting his immediate transfer to a secure institution. And since publishing this, the marshals picked him up, they locked him in chains, and then they sent him back to Otisville, where he is currently spending time in segregated housing unit under quarantine. So we continue on with a statement of facts. And what else do you have here in this document? This is really, they're alleging it's retaliation. Let's see if they cite the constitutional violations. Here's the claim for relief. Yes, there's a constitutional violation. It is a violation of the First Amendment right, retaliation for exercise of freedom of speech. Is there any other constitutional violations here? No, prayer for relief. They're just asking for a TRO, a temporary restraining order, and preliminary and permanent injunctive relief that would order the Bureau of Prisons to immediately release Michael Cohen to home confinement, and also award costs that he endured for bringing this motion. So that is what the 2241 motion looks like. There's also accompanying this a 30-page memorandum of law that I will also have on the Prison Professor's website, so that you can kind of get an idea of how they validate the veracity of this motion with case law and other types of information. So this is available. I'm not going to take the time to read it all. I just wanted you to see the kind of clinical approach that a lawyer would go through to make a solid case to bring relief to his client. And the client, of course, is Michael Cohen, a well-known figure because he was the lawyer's president for many years. I'll definitely want to credit the ACLU for bringing these actions against the Bureau of Prisons on July the 20th, with hopes that they can bring some relief to Michael Cohen. But I'll also plug in the link at Prison Professor this segment right here, which is the program statement that authorizes people to write manuscripts and to publish books even while they are in custody. They can do so without permission from the Bureau of Prisons. And it's important for people to know that, because a lot of people get scared about publishing while they're in prison. I published many books while I was in prison, served a lot of time in the segregated housing unit as a result of that, but I was certainly within my rights and I always prevailed. I certainly hope that anybody who is in the system can prevail when they face challenges, particularly when those challenges are violating an individual's constitutional rights. If you like this kind of content, I do hope that you will subscribe to the Prison Professors YouTube channel and to our podcast page, and visit us at prisonprofessors.com. We produce content every day with hopes of teaching and inspiring people who are going inside. I'm filming this not in my regular location of California, because I'm quarantined in New York City, where they are not anybody who's from California has to stay inside for 14 days. So I'm just doing the best that I can with the tools that I have to continue this mission of providing more people information that'll help them understand the prison system and hopefully prepare for success in spite of challenges like Mr. Cohen is facing right now. Tomorrow I fly home to California. I don't know if I'll be able to publish a video, but definitely wanted to get this one up today. Thank you.